Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of From the Fourth Line. My name's Emma, and I'm joined as always by my lovely co-host Marcie, who is mid-bite of potato.
As soon as I started eating, I was like, this was the wrong time.
Yeah. Welcome to another episode. I don't even know where to start today. I don't want to say this is our. No, we already knew that. Okay, I don't want to say that this is our trade center. Mostly because is Tradecentre trademarked? Does TSN own the right? Can I call something trademarked, or will I have Bell Media's lawyers coming after me?
That's a good question, and not one I know the answer to.
We're just not going to call it that then. We'll just say it's not really our deadline episode because we did put one out yesterday. If you haven't listened to it, it's probably already outdated because we know the return because we know the return for Hanafin. When we recorded that, we got our live reactions to Hanafin going to Vegas, and then we didn't know the return for Hanafin before we finished recording, because that didn't come out for a couple hours after that. But we had a great guest on. It was so fantastic.
Oh, it was so fun.
It was so fun. It was so much fun because I don't know if people realize we talked for over an hour before we started recording, and then we still talked for 30 minutes, 45 minutes after we were done recording while watching the first period of the Leafs game last night, which we'll talk about the Leafs. I don't even know where to start. I don't know if we start trades. I don't know if we start Leafs games.
I feel like if we start with trades, just so if anything happens. Because at this point, anything could happen.
Anything could happen. Tyler Toffoli is not in the lineup for the New Jersey Devils tonight due to trade-related precautions. So he's, I don't want to say definitely on the move, but he's probably on the move. Where he'll end up is a mystery. Chances are Vegas.
Yeah, they're just
Vegas or Florida.
People at this point.
Or Colorado, because they're also
Colorado. Sorry, oops, language. Colorado's having a time right now.
Colorado is having a time. I don't know. We'll start with the Hanafin trade because that was the first one. So Hanafin, we found out the return for Hanafin. Hanafin obviously Noah Hanafin is going from the Calgary Flames to the Vegas Golden Knights at 50% retained via Philadelphia, in exchange for Janil Manov, who signed an extension with Calgary after he got traded. He got traded and a couple hours later, hey, look, we've got this extension. He was the only UFA on the Vegas, the only pending free agent on Vegas's blue line going into this offseason, by the way. For 2025 first, a 2025 third, it's a conditional third. However, second if Vegas wins one round of the playoffs, which is, looking at their lineup, very likely. And Philadelphia, for their salary retention, gets one of Vegas's 2024 fifths. So, way to go, Vegas, on that one. They somehow are making it work. I think, Mark Stone being on LTIR until about 2 days before the playoffs start is a brilliant strategy that is surely going to work out every single time. My sister just added me to a WhatsApp group. She's going to Europe this week. Fun. Also, I guess the other trade as well that we'll talk about is the Toronto Maple Leafs acquire Joel Edmondson from the Washington Capitals. He's a left-handed defenseman for a 2024 third. That's New York Islanders third. So that's the third that they acquired in the Pierre Engvall trade. And then a 2025 fifth, which is Chicago's fifth, which they acquired in the Jake McCabe trade. And 50% salary retain on top of the fact that Edmondson's salary is already 50% retained via Montreal from how he got to Washington. So it's 75% of his salary is the Leafs are not paying it. And it doesn't go against his cap hit. So his cap hit is like $875,000, which is smart. Good, I guess. I don't know. He was on notably about, because it's all about the intangibles. He's a big defenseman, heavy hitter, notably cross-checked Wayne Simmons in the face and got fined for it in the 2021 playoffs against in the series against Montreal. So he was on that Montreal team. He was also on the 2019 Cup-winning St. Louis Blues, where he, for like the entire celebration, wore crop tops. That is the intangibles we care about.
That is what we care about.
We want the crop top per 60 percentage of this team to go up. If he can get every member of the Leafs roster to put on a crop top at one point or another, I will call that a successful trade. I know what you're thinking. Does it start with J and ends with Ose of wool and a crop top?
Maybe. Potentially.
Yeah, it does.
Just maybe.
I know you so well. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that Leafs lineup will shake out, because Leafs are very loaded on the left side when it comes to defensemen. Unlike their left wingers, it's very funny how that works out. But according to multiple beat reporters, so like Mark Masters, David Alter, Joel Edmondson is arriving close to game time for tonight in Boston. He's not expected to play tonight, but because of the silly little flu bug that's once again going around the Leafs locker room, Edmondson may be pressed into duty if they don't have 6 healthy defensemen, because they are without William Lagesson, who was placed on waivers this afternoon. Which if he does clear, it'll be a huge ad for the Marlies come Calder Cup playoffs if they need him and if they choose to use him, and if that's the way, because there's not a lot of effective defensemen on the Marlies right now. But who knows? Jake McCabe is playing tonight. He did not play last night for Buffalo against Buffalo because he had the flu. He was ill. There was a couple guys you could see that they were ill. Austin Matthews was one of those guys where you're like, this guy's gotten sick like 6 times this year. Someone start making him drink emergency. Like, someone give him emergency.
Get this man on his vitamins.
Someone make him get a flu shot. Because he's been sick every time there's been a bug that has gone through this locker room, and it's been multiple times this season. It's been like, I think we're on like our 4th round of someone getting sick. Yeah. He is always ill, and you can always tell, and maybe he doesn't miss a game because of it, but you can see it in his face. He looks sick. And you can see it in his playing as well. Of course, also as well, one more trade. Well, we'll talk. I'm putting this off for as long as possible. Just before we started recording, Toronto acquired the rights to unsigned Carolina Hurricanes prospects Cade Weber, who is currently playing for BU. He's a left shot defenseman who comes in at 6'6" and 194 pounds. He was picked in the 4th round, 99th overall in the 2019 draft. He is 23, so he's an 01 birth year. And this season with BU, in 30 games, he has 6 points, no goals, which already ties his NCAA career high in points. So he's very much a defensive defenseman, which is fine. This is something we talked about a lot yesterday in our special, just about how the way that Brad is changing the philosophy of this team when it comes to the blue line, and just that it's making it more physical, like just big. Is that something the Leafs never really had in the past? And, you know, who knows this, because this kid is young defensive prospect who's not even signed. But the Leafs did give up a 2026 sixth round pick. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That was something that came like all of like 25 minutes ago. It was before we started recording, and I was like, what the fuck?
It was like, I was like, sat making my food, and I was like, that's new.
Yeah. It was one of those things where I'm like, that's interesting. I wonder what Brad is cooking, because who knows?
What's going on in his mind? What's going on up there, eh?
Because we still have, we have what, 22 hours to the deadline?
Yeah.
Because deadline's tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern. So who knows what'll happen. There's still a couple of big names left on the trade block. One of them is Jake Gensel. I saw someone I don't know if someone was definitely so very unserious about this. But there was someone who was like, Crosby rumors are really starting to heat up more than expected. Nothing official, plenty of moving parts to get things in motion, but talks are fire emoji. Hashtag Avalanche, hashtag Canucks, hashtag Leafs. Sid is listening and he wants to do the right thing for the Penguins franchise and also compete for a cup. If the Leafs get Sidney Crosby, no, that's so unrealistic. If the Leafs get Sidney Crosby, you're having Sidney Crosby being what? Your second line center?
That's insane. Like, I saw also that. And I was just like, what? Like, at what point do you sit, look at yourself, and think, I need to be so for real right now?
The delusion in that tweet, off the charts. I'm like, oh yeah, Leafs are gonna get Sidney Crosby. That's like one of those things where you are like you're playing like Shell or something and like build a franchise mode, and you're like, yeah, give me McDavid to Toronto, give me Crosby to Toronto, give me Vasilevsky to Toronto, give me like Quinn Hughes to Toronto, and you build this like super team, and you're like, yeah, and then you go on like a 10-cup run dynasty, and you're like, we're the greatest team ever, and it's a bunch of like just a bunch of bullshit. That's what this is. That's like what this trade is.
I just sit and
oh my god, but I will say, if Crosby does get traded, not at this deadline, but if he does get traded, I will do something so drastic. Not in a negative way, but I'll do something where, like, no, because then I'm committing myself to spending money. I was going to say I'd get a Crosby jersey of the team he goes to. But I could end up getting, like, the jersey of a team I absolutely despise. But, like, that's what I'm thinking of, like, imagine, like, a Sidney Crosby Canucks jersey. What are you dropping at my suggestion, or did someone make a trade?
No, I was giggling at your suggestion. No one's done anything yet.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But yeah,
like, you never know. We could just like be recording, and all of a sudden we get Elliot Friedman,
Jake Gensel going to the Hurricanes.
Crosby to the Leafs.
Crosby to the Leafs. I'd buy a Leafs Crosby jersey, not gonna lie. I'd do it.
Could you imagine?
I'd do it for the bit.
Right. My favorite thing is suggesting like the most outlandish, like completely batshit. Crosby to the Panthers.
I'd kill myself.
Could you imagine?
I'd end it. I'd end it all.
I think he would as well.
I mean, he is somewhat friends with Kachuk. Oh my god.
Oh god, that'd be.
Oh my god. No, but Jake Gunsel is, I think, probably the biggest. He is the biggest name at the deadline. I think. Who knows where he'll end up? Rangers are apparently in on him, which is a surprise after the Wenberg move. Panthers are in on him, but Panthers aren't in on anyone. Same with Vegas. Vegas is in on everyone. Canucks seem like a front runner. Carolina seems like a front runner. They put Lemieux. I could see him on the Canucks. That's the thing. I'm like, I could see that working out. There was that whole thing where it was like him to the Canucks and then Lindholm to Boston and then DeBrusk somewhere. And I was like, anywhere to get DeBrusk off of Boston is a win for me.
Yep.
But, and then of course the trade that I've been putting off for so long. Here from the fourth line, we take our love for emotional support fourth liners very, very seriously. So I don't want to say overreacted. I think I reacted an appropriate
It was a
amount.
very rational reaction. Anyone would have reacted.
To Bill Guerin's Minnesota Wild, trading forward Brandon Duhaime to the Colorado Avalanche in exchange for a 2026 third-round pick. Dewey #1, as he's colloquially called on the team, in 62 games this season, have put up 4 goals, 4 assists. He brings a physicality to the fourth line with a $1.1 million cap hit. He's on a 1-year contract, so he's a pending free agent at the end of this season. I'm gonna miss Dewey on the Wild. Duhaime famously this season got into a little bit of a prank war with Marc-Andre Fleury after calling him 50 in a post-game interview. He's good friends with Dewey #2, Connor Dwyer, and multiple other guys on the Wild. Bill Guerin, what are you doing?
I was stood in my housemate's room about to leave for my field hockey training, and I got the notification and I just turned to her and I was like, oh my god, Emma's gonna kill herself.
And I like, did.
And I was like, she's trust me, she's gonna kill herself. Yeah, like I don't. How can you split? Like that's like if we lived in the same. That's like splitting us up.
Yeah, that's what it actually is. That's what it is. It's like if you know, I don't know. It's like one of us getting traded to being like I don't know, Montreal Canadian fans or something.
I don't want to think about it.
It'd be so sad.
Tragic.
Someone did ask.
Duh.
Yeah, someone did ask, like, oh, what is this in Leafs terms? For those who are unfamiliar with, like, Brandon Duhaime, because he is literally a fourth-line blorbo that I love with all my heart, that I've become very, very fond of in my brief bandwagoning of the Minnesota Wild this season. He's like if you it's like trading like Bobby McMahon for a bucket of pucks.
Oh, Bobby.
That's what we're looking at here. You're trading Bobby McMahon for a bucket of pucks. It's very, very sad.
It's tragic.
It's very tragic. You're separating him from his best friend since the AHL. Like him and Dewar came up through the AHL together from Iowa. Like, I don't know. It's whatever, you're trading a pending UFA fourth liner, blah, blah, blah. But it's the narratives that exist. Who is Fleury gonna prank now? The prank war is over.
Exactly. It's over for everyone.
It's over. And who even knows if it was naturally supposed to be over? Maybe Fleury had a really good prank idea that he can no longer use.
Now he just has to sit there and just think, oh, if only.
Well, now he has to sit there and be like, do I use it on Doer instead?
And the answer is yes.
Yes. The answer is yes. But it's always one of those things where it's like you think about again, I always like when it comes to trades, I always talk about, or players in general, I always talk about the intangibles because the intangibles are, it's like, I don't know how that locker room changes in terms of vibes because the vibes were high. But another trade, like I think the two main pieces left to move at the deadline still that are being wildly discussed is Jake Gensel and Tyler Toffoli. But we'll see where those guys end up. Who knows? I mean, Jacob Chikrin's also still out there if Ottawa wants to part ways with him. Who knows? Ottawa's going to be a fun one. I think Ottawa's one of those teams you watch come the off season, and we'll see what they do. I hope for their sake that they, make some changes because it's obviously not working out. But it will be exciting with the moves that Colorado and Vegas are making to sort of just see how they who knows if they'll meet in the playoffs. Maybe they will. Western Conference Final, that's the earliest they can meet, right? Western Conference Final? I think so.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it'll be interesting if they do meet up in the Western Conference Final. That'll be a fun series to watch because they're two teams that have made huge moves at the deadline and have only gotten better because of it. Some other fun news as well for you Freddie Anderson fans. He was activated today from IR. The Carolina Hurricanes activated him from IR. He's been out since November with blood clotting issue. Good on you, Freddie.
Look at him go.
Look at him go. It's good. I'm glad to see that he's made a return this season. Yeah, we can talk about the Leafs. They won last night. I want to talk about that game because that game was exciting. Don't know if I really want to talk about Boston.
How would I put this nicely? No.
The Boston game wasn't great, I will say. Joseph Wool didn't look his best, but also the defense that game was awful.
Shocking.
It was awful. Obviously, you can see what not having a player like McCabe does to your lineup.
Not good things.
No. But the Leafs had a pretty decent game against Buffalo. It was I don't want to say too tight for comfort. A little bit of that, I will say.
I got nervous.
There was points in that game where I also got nervous, and not because of Samsonov, because Samsonov stood on his head. There was the one goal that he allowed.
He was insane.
There was the one goal that he allowed that would straight up just shooter beating the goalie.
There was no stopping it.
No. But at that point you also have to give applause because it was a brilliant shot. It wasn't Jurgensen, was it? Was it Jurgensen? Doesn't matter. But yeah, I will say this is kind of an important month for the Leafs. Because this entire month of March, they play all Eastern Conference teams except for one game where they play the Edmonton Oilers at home. Every other team they play this month, and I accidentally hit the mic. That was probably very loud. And I'm trying to check. And also next month, from now until the end of the season, they only play Eastern Conference teams. So we'll see.
Well,
yay.
Yet.
But yay.
Yeah, for my sleep schedule.
Yeah. The latest is we have a couple of 7:30 starts.
Yeah, I'm just get vibes. I'm quite happy.
Yeah. Boston tonight, rematch, right down to the goalie matchup of Monday's game. We've got Wool in net for Toronto and Swayman for Boston. We'll see how that goes. And then Montreal on Saturday for Hockey Night in Canada, a classic matchup. Montreal Leafs are in Montreal as well. And then there's like a 4-day break. Leafs have 4 days off before they play Philadelphia. Before they play Philadelphia. That'll be a fun game. I think, is that the Leafs' first time playing? No, it's not. It's not the Leafs' first time playing Philadelphia. I was like, oh, is it the Leafs' first time playing? I thought it was for a second. I was like, ooh, it'd be fun. I do just enjoy, like, Philadelphia Flyers I feel like they're a fun team to play. Mostly just because, not to praise John Tortorella, but part of that is the way John Tortorella has coached his team. And then the moment we've all been waiting for, Michael Bunting's return to Toronto.
So
the 16th, we've got Carolina in Toronto, and it's the return of Michael Bunting to Toronto.
If I choose,
Freddie Anderson could start that game.
It won't hurt me.
Freddie Anderson could start that game too.
Oh!
Now that he's been activated back from IR.
If I choose to ignore the fact that it's happening, it can't hurt me.
It'll be special. Nice. Love Michael Bunting.
Oh, I miss him.
I miss Michael Bunting, yeah. It's a fun guy. Yeah, we kind of sped through everything really quick when it comes to trades. I was kind of hoping someone would do something.
Yeah, come on, Elliot, please. Can we just like poke him? Just be like, hey, Elliot, please announce something.
Do you think Joseph Wool knows about these trades? Like, do you think like Joel Edmondson will just like show up and be like, "Who are you?"
Or just be like, are you lost?
But no. This guy's on social media now. He's on Instagram.
Yeah,
he's got to know.
He's up to date. He's down with the kids.
He's got to know. You know why he's got to know? Because he's at least on Instagram somewhat regularly enough to update his profile picture.
He is.
Like, guy he updates his profile picture more often than I update my own, which isn't saying much because I haven't changed mine in a year.
Yeah, I was gonna say yours has been the same for like the whole time that I've followed you.
Yeah, I was thinking about my Instagram profile picture, but yeah, my Twitter profile picture has not been updated in a very long time because it was even before. Because it has been updated somewhat recently because I put a Leafs jersey on Chandler Bang, but it was still that picture of Chandler Bang for so long that is it even really like that different? He just is wearing a jersey now.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna get Joseph Wool soup fix tonight.
We are gonna get Joseph Wool soup fix.
I've been like looking for something good to happen today because it's just not been my day. And then I've just remembered, and now I'm happy.
Yeah. I will say also as well, like some other names that are, I think for sure, because surprisingly, a team that hasn't made a lot of moves in terms of selling at the deadline is the San Jose Sharks. But today it was announced that Alexander Barbanov and Anthony Duclair both are sitting due to trade-related reasons, as well as Jason Zucker and Tyler Toffoli. But so again, more guys out there who could get moved at the deadline. There's still like 21 hours left of the trade deadline, 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. And we'll get to recap all the fun shenanigans that goes on Monday's episode tomorrow. So that'll be fun. It'll give us something to talk about because like I don't know what we're gonna talk about like Monday's episode because we'll have 2 games to cover for the Leafs. But I don't know what it'll be next Thursday's game. Thursday's episode will be a fun one. Well, next Thursday's episode will be a fun one. I have no idea what we're going to talk about with the Leafs coming off of 4 days rest post trade deadline. What do you even do? I would love to know who designed this schedule. Who was like, yeah, let's do 2 back-to-backs with travel in a month, but then give them 4 days off.
It was clearly someone who
yeah, you also who didn't realize
the podcast.
Yeah. Okay, Leafs, you can't distract us by releasing the media availability for tonight's pregame, and it's Kelly Yarncroke in a suit.
You just can't be doing that to us.
Can't do that. By the way, though, he was. Oh, I know. I saw that. I'm looking at it myself.
You're now doing a podcast with. Oh, I know. But I just thought.
We just become Callie Yarncroke.
Oh god.
But this isn't. If anyone wants any preview of like what the off season is going to look like, this is it.
Yeah, it's this. Us figuring out the mystery socks.
The mystery socks. I gotta perfect my Ryan Bergara unsolved voice.
We just cry about Joseph Woll.
I have to perfect my Ryan Bergara unsolved voice before we tackle the mystery socks. I gotta get working on that. I don't even want to try now because I don't think I can do it, and I don't want to embarrass myself. I already embarrassed myself with the English accent last week. Not doing that again.
You're still not forgiven for that, by the way.
Oh no. Oops. What shall I do? How will I? Oh, how I struggle. Callie Yarncroke got the belt last night for the Leafs against Buffalo. It was really funny though in the blueprint because Samsonov was like, "Oh, welcome back for his first game back," and someone chimes in, "He's been here a week."
Oh,
which is true. He has been. Oh, they're so silly. They're so silly, goofy. But it does mean I did learn, and I'm very upset by this because that means there was more changes than I thought to the locker room seating, like the seating arrangement in the Leafs locker room. Pontus Holmberg is now where Nick Robertson sits, and that means everything's changed on the defensive side because Pontus Holmberg was sitting on the defensive side, and now he's not. Now he's sitting on the forward side because Robertson is with the Marlies right now until they can until Brendan Prindom can do some cap shenanigans and bring him up when the roster limits go out the window post trade deadline. And I just don't know.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one for you to get figured out.
But yeah, I don't know. I think the vibes with this team are really at like an all-time high. And maybe I don't want to be the one who's like, but intangibles are above performance, because that's not true. But I do want to think maybe the vibes being this high are the reason why the Leafs are playing very well right now. Yes, they have their off nights, like any team does, because you're not going to be like the Edmonton Oilers and win 15 in a row. But they're playing really well right now. They're 8-2 in their last 10, right?
Yeah, it's been a solid run.
It's been a solid run. Maybe it's because the vibes are so high.
It's because Joseph falls back.
No, because I think the vibes have been high post like All-Star break.
Oh yeah, no, everyone's just, it just feels a lot like calmer and more like laid back.
Like Morgan Riley got suspended and everyone was like, let's go.
I need someone do something. I'm like,
we can't sit here in silence and we
like,
need something to talk about, and I've run out of things. I don't know what to talk about.
No, like usually we can just like never shut up, and now it's just like we've gone through everything.
We've gone through everything. Like I don't have a lot of notes about like the past two games. I really don't, besides like our scoring needs to come back because we had two games with pretty low, like from the Leafs, low scoring. Like Boston, they only scored one and it was a John Tavares goal. And then against Buffalo, they only scored, two, and one was in overtime and the other one was the William Nylander goal. Where was all this like secondary scoring like that we had up the wazoo like 2 weeks ago? Where it was like, yeah, Bobby McMahon can score a hat trick. Where is that? I want that back.
Yeah, bring back Bobby McMahon's hat tricks.
Bring it back. I want it back. But
we want it back.
We want it back. I will say though, like, I don't know what's left for the Leafs to do, just in terms of also like what's left on the trade board. Like, where is this magical right D that the Leafs are going to acquire at the deadline that we were like, this is what you need. You need a right D. Not to say that like Toronto has. I see a lot of people suggesting that Toronto goes all in this year, and I don't think that's the case. I genuinely do not think that if Toronto goes in all year, like they're going to win the cup this year. And I think primarily that's because the West is ridiculous. Like Colorado and Vegas are both going all in this year. And I also so you also have to like get to the Stanley Cup final as well. Like you have to make it through the playoffs. And I think Florida's going to be hard. Who else? Boston is always going to be difficult for Toronto.
Yeah.
Who else needs? Carolina is setting up to be hard. And then in the West, like we said, Vegas, Colorado, Canucks, Winnipeg is going to be one of the, like Dallas is looking good right now too. Like it's New York in the East as well. Like I think you have, I would almost want I almost want Toronto to go in like next year, the year after. I think that's the way you do it. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I feel like as much as I'd like for it to be this year, I think just wait because yeah. That's all. Oh my god, I think I'm dying. I've caught whatever the Leafs have got.
Whatever bug they have.
Yeah,
that's the thing where I'm like, this team needs like to get like flu shots. And I think that, that this is the downside of so many of the Leafs being dads now, is there is the fact that all of them are ill all of the time.
This is no escape.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't remember.
My immune system.
I don't remember like the Leafs getting this sick like last season even.
No, like, yeah, I feel like if they had, like, we'd have remembered.
We'd have remembered. But like outside of this season, I'm like thinking like the last time this team, like the last like big time this team we made jokes about like people being sick was like William Nylander getting like food poisoning from sushi, and that still comes up. The poor guy can never escape it because it's like the one time he got food poisoning eating sushi. But yeah, I don't know. I just like now I feel like we have nothing to like. I don't know, because I'm not good at trade predictions. I'm really not. I'm not good at like being like this. I'll be the return because honestly, player value at the deadline is arbitrary. Like it changes season to season. Players are valued differently depending on what's available. Like that's just the way the market works at the deadline. And you know, people are like, oh, you know, you got to throw Minton in and you got to throw Robertson in and you got to throw this and you're going to get this guy. It's like, that's not how this is going to, like, really? You're overpaying. 9 times out of 10, all these mock trades that people are putting out, especially for on St. Louis, that's the big name that's being thrown around right now. Oh my God, it starts with a P. I want to make sure I pronounce his name right. Well, one of the names, it's like they want to. People are like, oh, what if we lump in Pavel Buchnevich and Colton Parayko? And I'm like, and they're like, okay, and it'll be like TJ Brody, Nicholas Robertson, Topi Niemela, and Fraser Minton and a first. And I was like, what are you doing? That's a gross overpay for 2 players.
Which is like, and as well, it's like when everyone's like, oh, like everyone's like predicting trades. I'm like, I'm really bad at it purely because I do it based off who I have emotional attachments.
Suit picks.
Stuff. It's like I just want. Wait.
Suit picks.
Oh, Matthew. Oh.
Suit picks. I don't know if us reacting to suit picks is at all entertaining for anyone who listens to this show. I feel like it is not.
It's just everyone just being like, oh, these bitches back at it again.
Like this can't be something that people. Oh, cool. Justin Trudeau was in Toronto today.
Oh, Callie. I love that suit.
I do. Okay. Callie Yarncrook has like the best suits, man. His plum double-breasted. The plum double-breasted one he has.
Such a good suit. I'm seriously petitioning for Matthew Nice to bring back because they were a vibe.
The flower shirts?
I miss them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need him to go back to
his little the fun shirts.
Experimenting with prints. Ooh.
Oh, here we go.
No, Joseph.
No, Joseph. No. What have you done to hurt me in this way?
The policeman on Twitter.
Policeman, where's the Joseph Woltzman? Where's the... That's a nice jacket for Liljegren, though. I like that jacket. Okay, do they all? Yeah, I'm convinced that like the Leafs, like I know this is probably true because Toronto's not that big of a city, but like they all go to the same tailor because why do like 4 of them have the same white shirt with the blue button trim? Like 4 of them have, I'm convinced they all, it's like 2, I would say it's 1 shirt that they just share, but both Liljegren and Nyes are both wearing the exact same dress shirt.
Right, they're just like, all just standing like, Mum said it's my turn with the dress shirt.
Forget Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. It's a Brotherhood of the Traveling Dress Shirt. I'm gonna go through it. Hold on. gonna do that before I put this episode out, so like no one steals that tweet idea. You better not steal that tweet idea. I have proof that I came up with it first.
I would never, Emma. I would never steal your tweet idea. I'm not certain people.
I knew it. Oh my god, I knew what name you were gonna say. I was like, you better not say.
No, I would never call someone out.
Yeah.
Oh,
we do love Bobby McMahon on this show.
Bobby McMahon.
But yeah, I think I don't know where we are with the trade deadline. I feel like I had something else to say, but now I don't think I did. Oh yes, I did want to talk about that second line, the Leafs' second line of Bertuzzi, Nylander, and Domi. Or well, Bertuzzi, Domi, Nylander, because that line can score. That line can score, but they're lazy, and you could see it because Nylander got benched against Boston. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, can Domi center your second line in the playoffs?
I don't know. It's I thought something happened.
No. But like that's the thing that's the question that we almost have to, but it's one of those things to think about. Is like that second line, because they're good when they're good. It sounds so stupid of me to say. They're good when they're good, but they're bad when they're bad. But it's almost like they're good when they're good, they're bad when they're lazy, which is like true for anything. Like if you're lazy, you're going to be bad, but it's just, I feel like it's so much more noticeable because of just how
they're either good or they're either like there's no in between. It's like
Justin Hall last season.
Really good.
I'm so mean. I'm sorry.
Is it like too late to just like quit the podcast? Guys, you heard it here first. Sorry, no more episodes. I quit. Emma is mean.
I make too many Justin Hall jokes. Unfortunately. That's
what your crimes have been making too many Joseph Wall jokes and not replying to my battleships.
I was busy today. Following trades. I can't even say I had a lot of work today because I actually didn't do much work today. Did you just? I'm not going to reply to your battleships now while we're recording a podcast. We've already had too many long breaks of silence.
I'm just sending you a gentle,
us trying to figure out what to talk about. And we can't do this on the show. You know what I was listening to? You know what I did watch today in between trade announcements? And this was mostly because Cal brought it up. Was Bad for Bedard. I listened to Bad for Bedard's a brilliant song, okay? And then I fell down the rabbit hole of all of the old songs that back when it was NHL on TSN that they used to do like 5 to 10 years ago. And there's a wonderful array of original songs sung by James Duthie playing a guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And then I spent a considerably long amount of time trying to figure out what like 2013, what actor 2013 James Duthie looks like. I could not figure it out for the life of me, but I was like, that's a man I've seen before and not on my sports broadcasts. I've seen him somewhere other than TSN hockey intermission panels.
No, I hate when that happens. It's like, where do I know you from? Because I have seen you somewhere before. And I just can't put my finger on it. Like, that happened to me the other day. I was watching a movie and this guy showed up and I was like, like I was like, I recognize you so much, but I don't know where from. And then it turns out it was in House of Anubis, and I was like, oh yeah, that checks out.
I loved House of Anubis.
Oh my god,
that was a show that for the longest time I had like gaslight myself into thinking it didn't exist. I don't know about you, because it was like you couldn't find, there was a period of time when between like where it was got taken off of Netflix, at least Canadian Netflix, and you couldn't find it anywhere else. Like there was no proof that that show actually existed. Like I couldn't find clips of it on YouTube, or I couldn't find like scroungings of like a website. Like I was like, this show is not real. I invented it with my brain. It's not a real show. I just remember like I somehow remember watching this show that I imagined watching on Netflix, and I watched like 3 seasons of it, and I don't know what happened to this show. Loved House of Anubis though.
Oh, yeah, you see, I never had to experience that because I have the first season on DVD.
Jealous. I'm gonna come rob you now. I'm gonna take your mystery socks, your signed Hildeby jersey, and your and your House of Anubis season 1 of House of Anubis DVD.
No. No, this just means you have to. You see, this just means you have to come and visit me,
so and we can watch House of Anubis on DVD. Oh, we get a bottle of wine and we watch House of Anubis on DVD.
No, because I was talking to Kyle
bottle of wine each, and we make it a drinking game.
Oh yeah, fucking drink every single time the acting makes you cringe.
Drink every single time.
Absolutely gone.
Drink every single time there's a joke about the British people that makes you want to kill yourself.
I think we might need more than a bottle of wine for that.
There was another, oh my god, speaking of things that I thought that I invented, like I made up and that it aren't actually true and that I created out of my own imagination. There's this book series. It's a book series that I read back in middle school because of the house that we were living in at the time when I read it. Back in middle school, that it's about this guy. It's like kind of Alex Rider-esque, where it was this guy, and there's like one day all of the adults go missing, and then he has to time travel, and he's a secret spy, and there's time travel involved, and it was a big enough series that I got translated into French, which not every book is getting translated into French. So it was big enough, it was successful enough of a book that it got a French translation because I read it both in English, and then I couldn't get the second book fast enough that I wanted to read it at my local library. So I took it out in French and read it in French.
Oh.
Because I know French. So I was like, oh, I'll read it in French because I can't wait for the English version I can't wait for it to like, I like put it on hold, but I can't wait for me to get it from hold. So I'll just take out the French one because here's the French one like in the library right now for me to take home. I can't remember the name of it. I can't remember the names of any of the characters, but I have searched for so long for this book. The first book had like almost all blue color, but there was like an illustration, and it was this like kid falling through a wormhole. If anyone knows at all about what book I'm talking about, this is like a reach out into the universe of like, someone please tell me I'm not crazy, because for the life of me, I cannot remember.
It's a cry for help.
It's a cry for help. And before you say, oh, is it this book? Is it this? It's not 32 clues. Not 32 clues. 39 clues. It's not 39 clues. It's not Alex Rider. It's if you Google time travel children's novels book series, it's not literally, it's not any of like the first ones you think of. It's like middle schooler, like school children's book series. It's like for like it's like not the time travelers, the flashback 4. Like I can't for the life of me figure it out. And it is bothering me. It's not Infinity Ring. It's not Infinity Ring before people are like, oh, is it his Infinity Ring? It's not. I like, oh, did I find it? Is it the fucking Book of Time? Did I solve a year-long mystery that's been bothering me for years?
No, because I've just been thinking, like, now you're talking about that, I've just like started thinking of like books that I used to love reading, and there's this one, and it's called Where's the Dragon? And
No, it's
it's
not
like
this one.
it's an illustrated book, and it's about this, but it's like it's really cool because in all the pictures, it's for like fun. It's still one of my favorite things in the whole entire world. But it's like in the pictures, there's hidden dragons. I'll send you a link to it because it's really cool. But there's like hidden dragons, and you have to like you can like feel them on the paper, and it's about this guy, this boy that goes like on an adventure with his granddad to find this dragon, and like the dragon's there all the time. So it's like the dragon's eye is like in the sky, and like right next to them, and then the granddad just goes, "Oh, that's a really bright moon tonight, dragon eye," and it's I just went, it's £45 on Amazon.
45 pounds?
Oh my god. I am so glad
right?
I still have my copy at my grandma's, I think. So I'm gonna ask her if I can have it.
Time right? I'm like trying to figure it out and I can't for the life of me, but I can see the like cover of this book so vividly in my head that it's like bothering me, and I hate it because I remember I loved the book so much that I like was willing to read it in French in middle school, which you know how much effort it takes to read a novel in French in middle school? I was only reading French, like books in French because I had to for school, but I was like, no, I'll willingly, anyways, we'll figure, if anyone knows exactly what book I'm talking about, shoot us a DM or send the show an email, because it's like I could probably like go back through like the history of like my parents' Libby account, because I think at one point I took out the ebook for it like from the library, but I don't even think that like library card is like still like valid because it was so long ago. I don't even have a City of Toronto library card anymore. I should get one though, because I should get a library card. I don't have a library card. I have to, but like the annoying thing with like getting an Ottawa library card is like you have to prove you live in Ottawa, and like all of my ID still says Toronto on it, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just figure out a way to go get an Ottawa library card. Be like, look, I want one. Give me a library card. I don't know. But that's the thing, is like those pieces of media that you're like, oh, I remember reading these, but like you can't remember the name of it, and you're like, I'm convinced that I just made this up in my head. That's how I feel all the time.
Yeah. And I get that a lot, and I hate it so much because I'm like, I know what it was, but I can't remember it.
That's like the downside of like me reading so many books, that they during that time, is because they all like fuse together, and I'm like, maybe I'm just combining like 3 different books that I all read in like the span of a week in like grade 7. Which is like probably true, because I was reading a lot of books in that time. I was a fiend. And then I like stopped reading altogether. And now I'm slowly getting back into it. I'm reading a really great book right now, but I'm like, if I read hockey books, that'll get me to read.
Yeah, that's how John Tavares got Matthew Knives to start reading.
I won't be reading any like
about hockey.
I'm trying to like there. Oh yeah, here we go. Apparently, according to Pierre LeBrun, Overdrive says that the Blues have no intention of trading Colton Parayko. Great. He said that the Leafs are looking at a bottom 6 center. Huh?
What? I don't even think I have words for it.
Pierre, I think you're on something. Pierre, I think you're on something. Bottom six. Sorry. Let me take you through who the Leafs have as their bottom six centers. John Tavares. Oh, shut up, Siri. You do understand that. John Tavares and John Tavares and David Kampf. David Kampf basically is unplayable anywhere else in the lineup because we've seen that. We've seen it. We've seen him be our third line center. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can't put him anywhere else. He's $2.4 million that you've got to sit on the fourth line as your fourth line center. And John Tavares, who is getting paid 11, is your third line center. And like, where else are you gonna put him up on the second? Can he still play as the second line center? Who knows? He's really good as your third line center. What are we doing? Why do we need a bottom six center? I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Yeah. I'm just like, what is even going on anymore?
Lance Hornby knows how to get those engagements with this one by putting Joseph Woll in the first two. Some words of a tweet. It's not what you think it's not. It's like he knows how to drive that engagement with a very certain group of people.
Oh God.
I was like, what's like, yes, because Joseph Woll did go to Boston College and Cade Weber plays at BU, but like they never played against each other in college. So he was like Joseph Woll.
He's like,
he knows how to drive.
He just goes, oh yeah, those two bitches on Twitter.
He's like, a guaranteed engagement because I'll get those two that replied that quote tweet every single tweet that mentions Joseph Woll like clockwork. Oh my God.
We're just that predictable.
We're incredibly predictable, but is it really that bad of a thing at the end of the day?
No.
No.
I think.
Anyways, it's very entertaining. Well, I don't know if you have anything else to bring up. It doesn't look like anyone else is making a trade.
No, they could always, someone sign Phil Kessel, please.
Oh yes, got to talk about Phil Kessel. Okay, big day for me. There's a couple other people here, but like, this is a big day for me. For me. Me specifically. Is that, according to Chris Johnson, not trade related, he said, but it sounds like things remain on track for Phil Kessel to sign with the Canucks before tomorrow's 3 p.m. trade deadline. He needs to be on the reserve list by that time in order to be eligible for the Stanley Cup playoffs. If Phil Kessel wins his 4th Stanley Cup, I will be a very, very happy person. I will be very happy. It also means that the Canadian Cup curse is broken, and so then people don't have to start bringing up the 1993 Montreal Canadiens again. But I love Phil Kessel. I loved Phil Kessel when he was a Leaf. He was my favorite player on the Leafs for the longest time while he was here with Toronto during his entire tenure. And I don't think I'm that secretive about that fact. I feel like I bring that up all the time.
I actually don't know if you've mentioned it before, so would you like to maybe say it again?
I love Phil Kessel.
We start on I love Phil Kessel t-shirts.
Oh my God. That's a thing. Yeah, we have so many merch ideas.
So many.
So many merch ideas. But I do think that, like, I don't know what the holdup is. Someone sign him though, please, because I miss him. I miss Phil Kessel.
How can you look at him and not want to sign him?
Like, to show how much I love Phil Kessel. I once went with friends of mine from university, so I wasn't going alone, but like still, I went with friends of mine, and we went to go see Senators versus the Arizona Coyotes in Ottawa, obviously. And what a matchup on a Monday night. We paid $25 for the tickets. Because they were in the 300s. We then walked all the way down to the 100s for warm-ups and just stayed there the entire time. And we cheered. Yes, we were cheering for Ottawa, but we also would cheer every time Phil Kessel was on the ice. We were in the 100, and it was a very empty arena. It was like not at all close to being sold out. It was very, very empty. And we would yell, "We love you, Phil Kessel," every time we would see him on the ice. We'd be like, "Daddy, no."
That genuinely, I don't think I've ever been less surprised at anything you've done.
And I'm 95% sure that the goalie who in that end, because we were right at behind the net, could hear us.
Oh God.
And it was like he would touch the puck and we would go banana.
Emma.
What?
The Hurricanes are holding Michael Bunting out of tonight's game for trade-related reasons.
Come home, Michael. Michael, come home.
Bring him home.
Michael, come home. Michael, come home.
Bring him home. Oh my God. Bring him home. Please.
Brad, I'm going to need you to do something for me. I'm going to need you to bring Michael Bunting home. Bring him home, Mike.
Bring him home. Bring him home.
Also, that is so incredibly shocking. No, because Michael Bunting, they're gonna trade. No. You know what this could be? This could be the Gensel trade. Kyle Dubas would do this.
Oh, he would. Kyle.
Oh my God. Yeah. But because you know what I'm thinking about now? And I'm thinking about this only because, like, I don't know if you watched it, if Michael Bunting Spit and Chicklets interview that he did. It was posted right around the All-Star break, but they recorded it right at the start of the season this year. I don't know if you watched that. But he talked to Spit and Chicklets, and he also did another interview as well. But he said in both of those, and he said it a lot in Spit and Chicklets one, where it's like, Carolina wanted me. I signed with Carolina because they wanted me. Now he's being sat out for trade-related reasons because Carolina wants.
Michael.
No, nothing could become of this. Nothing could become of this because it could be purely precautionary. It could be like, we may want to go, like, we may want this trade. This trade could probably never go through, and it could be like, I remember that time Michael Bunting sat for trade-related reasons, and then he didn't end up getting traded. But if he gets traded, oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Does no, I don't think he has trade protection. I just think I'm like, not to assume that everyone has like like no movement clauses and stuff. No, no movement clauses and stuff. Just mostly because like the Leafs have a crazy amount of those. Oh, no, it does. He's a 10-team no trade list.
Oh.
Now we don't know who's on that no trade 10-team no trade list, and that still leaves at like 2/3 of the league that he could go to, but still interesting. I'm sorry. Like,
my timeline at the moment is just everyone being like, bring him home.
Yeah, Pierre LeBrun. Here we go. Hurricanes have been pushing hard with Pittsburgh on Gensel. It would make sense that Bunting would be part of that package if Carolina can get the deal with the Penguins across the finish line. Kyle Dubas is Seattle to sue grain hoppers.
Kyle, please.
Brad, pick up the phone. Kyle, make it happen.
Bring him home.
Oh my god. I feel like I have to like update my I'm sorry, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Oh my god.
This is pure insanity. Oh my god.
Oh
I don't even want to like end the show now because I'm just like, oh my god. Like I'm like want to sit here. What if? Like we'll finish recording right away.
And then I'll just be like, a surprise.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. Anyway, Michael Bunting, that's actually huge. I mean, Kyle does love his greyhounds. You saw how many.
He's a narrative girly through and through.
Reunites with Noel Achari.
Oh god.
Kyle. Could Michael Bunting on Sidney Crosby's wing?
Like, that man is gonna get to Pittsburgh and within 5 minutes he is gonna yap the ears off Sidney.
And Sidney's gonna be like, I thought I escaped. He's gonna be like, this is like Mitch all over again. He's like, oh my god, it's just Michael Bunting going like, yeah, no, Mitch said you were a great guy, Sid. Like, no, he wouldn't call him Mr. Crosby, but be like, yeah, like, it's just, oh my god. I don't even, like, we do have to end the show eventually because we can't sit here for 2 hours, unfortunately.
No.
But
no, I think even we have our limits of how much yapping we can do in a short amount of time. Oh, please, bring it home.
But yeah, so his annual cap hit is like 4.5. What's Jake Gensel's? Wait, like it's like you have to hold it for like the next couple years. Hold on. I'm trying to pull up the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm just trying to pull up the Pittsburgh Penguins cap friendly page. And my butt is cramping. This sucks. I've got a butt cramp. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. It's a terrible day. Oh yeah, because he's injured. I forgot he's on LTI. 6. Oh, okay. Well, the cap hit is less. 6 million. Can you fit 4.5 in? I think you can. Pittsburgh Penguins are not totally sewered. The cap. You have to make cap space. There's word he will be traded to Pitts. Elliot. Elliot. This is what Tradecenter's all about. Who needs sorry, I can I say that? No, because I can't call this Tradecenter because I think Tradecenter is trademarked by TSN and Bell Media's lawyers scare me because it's Bell. And it's like any like entertainment at all in Canada is either Bell or Rogers. So very, very scared. But oh my god. I'm not that that's just crazy. That's crazy.
Insane.
When do Leafs play Pittsburgh anymore? Yes, they do. April 8th.
Please, 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 Kyle.
I mean, Leafs play Carolina twice more. I'm just like, wow.
Wow. Oh my god. It's insane. So I was opening my phone as I got your tweet notification, and I got really scared that something had been announced. Oh my god. This is what we've been waiting for.
This is what we've been waiting for. We've been sitting here waiting for the Jake Guentzel trade. I'm gonna have to I don't know. I don't even know if we keep recording and we just wait, and then I go through and I come back and edit stuff, because I do remember when when Minnesota fired their coach and we were still sitting here half recording. Not half recording. We were sitting here in the Teams call, but we weren't recording, so we did and everything. I don't know. Do we just sit here? I think we just sit here and I'll cut out to we'll sit here until the Leafs game starts, and then I'll cut out all the silence of us sitting here, and then we'll react to the Guentzel trade if it happens in the next 30 minutes. I think that's what I'll do.
Please.
So
if
there is no Jake Guentzel trade in the next 30 minutes, or no trade call for Jake Guentzel in the next 30 minutes, it'll cut to the outro. But if not, it'll cut to our reaction of the Jake Guentzel trade, or anything notable that we think of to say in the time between now and the Jake Guentzel trade, or whatever comes first.
Something will happen at some point.
Something will happen at some point. Okay, well, there's no official trade call for Guentzel, and we're 4 minutes before the start of the Leafs game. So we're going to call the episode here. But it is pretty much guaranteed that Michael Bunting will be part of the package to send Jake Guentzel from Pittsburgh to Carolina. I mean, Carolina just got really, really good. Or they have a chance to be really, really good, because you are giving up a
Michael Bunting.
And Sidney Crosby just got Michael Bunting as a teammate. Because I will say, you are losing something with Michael Bunting in assets. He's a pretty big asset. But yeah, Kyle Dubas reunites. He does like his Greyhounds. You can say that. But yeah. Yeah. That's all we have. We sat here for 30 minutes and got no further updates besides from Pierre LeBrun basically saying it's happening because of the fact that both teams play tonight. The trade call will officially be happening after the game. Both games of those are finished, so probably get that, midnight that becomes official. Poor team's social media admin having to stay up that late for that. But it's that time of year. We'll be back. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of From the Fourth Line. You can find the show wherever you get your podcast. We're slowly putting all of our episodes onto YouTube to make sure that that's all up to date. That's slowly happening. It'll get done
on Tuesday.
It'll be up next week. But you can also, in the meantime, find the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Amazon as well. But yeah, you can find your shows. You can find our shows there. Our show there. You can follow the show on Twitter at From the Fourth Line. That's fourth with the number 4TH. And you can follow me and Marcie on Twitter at 60 Leaves for Marcie, at PairB1 for myself. That's always, of course, as always, in the show notes. We will see you on Monday after what could be a very, very boring Friday. Who knows?
Yeah.
Enjoy the trade deadline. Enjoy tonight's game. Enjoy Saturday's game. And we'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Bye.